What the fuck is up, everyone? And welcome back to Dark Fucking Reflections. I mean, kind of like the last one, dude. I don't even know. Like, I feel like this is all I need to say is there's a new Hatebreed album out. I know you guys, it's kind of covered. I got it on my shirt.
Yeah.
Here we go. I got the shirt on. It's kind of covered in signatures. I got the got the signed one, and you did too. But Weight of the Fallen Self, new Hatebreed album, their 8th studio. You know, I think I got that off Wikipedia. I think that's wrong. It says they only have 8 studio albums, but they didn't. On the Hatebreed discography page, there is no mention anywhere of the what's it called? For the Lions, something about lions. The covers out.
Oh yeah, the cover album. It is.
I mean, it's a cover album, but it's still a full-length studio album. You know. And it is not mentioned. So I'm going to say it's the 9th studio album because they didn't mention it. It just surprised me. I was like, how did that's weird. I thought it was weird. Now this album was supposed to be released back in like April or June. It never had an official release date, but that's when it was supposed to be released. But of course it was delayed due to COVID, and it was officially released on November 27th through Nuclear Blast Records. And it actually reached number 2 on the US hard rock charts, only second to AC fucking DC.
Of course. I mean,
you're still pretty much number 1 at that point, right? Yeah, like if you're second to AC/DC, you're still kind of number 1, right? Like,
not a bad problem to have.
Yeah, if I'm second to AC/DC, I feel better, almost better than if I'm number 1. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, like that's amazing. Now, one thing I did want to mention, the producer, mixer, and masterer of this album was Chris Zeus Harris. And he's a producer I have not heard of before. Dude, I looked into him briefly. Dude, he's produced Shadows Fall, God Forbid, All That Remains, Sworn Enemy, like a lot of Hatebreed albums, Agnostic Front, Madball, Red Chord, Terror, Immure, Municipal Waste, Thy Will Be Done, one of my favorite bands, 3 Inches of Fucking Blood, Kingdom of Sorrow, kind of course, Whitechapel, he produced This Is Exile, mixed and mastered This Is Exile, Carnifex, I'm trying to not rename bands, Acacia Strain, he produced, engineered, mixed, and mastered Wormwood by Acacia Strain, Baptized in Blood, that's a great band, Chimera, Suicide Silence, Crowbar, Earth Crisis, Chelsea Grin, Threat Signal. I don't know if I mentioned them. Soulfly, Rob Zombie, 6 Feet Under, Huntress, Suffocation, Devil You Know, Throwdown, Demon Hunter, Sanctuary.
Just goes,
dude. Like it's insane. I already said. Iced Earth. D. Snyder, For the Love of Metal. He mastered that album. Dude, Disciple. I'm getting to the end of this. Yep, those are pretty much like all the bands that you and I know, at least. That he's worked on stuff with. Insane. I read that. I was like, holy fuck! How do I not know his name yet? So I did want to mention that.
Now that you say that, I do definitely recognize that last name, or just that, like, most of the time it's just putting in Zeus, but yeah.
I'd never heard it before. I'd never heard it. So that I was like, holy shit. And then as always, as we do on these Dark Reflections, especially ones about full-length albums, we always like to mention the artwork, the artists behind the artwork, excuse me. The artwork, cover art, I believe, was done by Eliran. I'm dog shit with names. Eliran Cantor. The layout is Rob Kimura. I'm so sorry if I'm fucking this up. And band photography is Jeremy Saffer, something like that.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I've seen his stuff.
Hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
a lot of like portrait stuff, a lot of stuff for different bands. Jeremy Saffer.
Saffer, yes. Jeremy Saffer, Rob Kimura, and Eliran Cantor, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to them, man, because they did some killer artwork on this one. I actually really like it a lot. Dude, let's get into it. This is their first album in 4 years, and I gotta say, absolute. I mean, like, look, it possibly out of the gate, I'm probably gonna regret saying this, but sitting here right now, possibly out of the gate, the best 4 opening tracks to an album this year could be one of the best opening 4 pieces I've heard in a fucking minute. We start off with the Instinctive Slaughterlust, Let Them All Rot, Set It Right, and then title track Way to the Fallen Self. Boom, 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 boom. Out of the gate, monsters, dude. Out of the fucking gate. And I got, like, Let It Rot is absolutely one of my favorite tracks on the album. Second track.
Yeah.
Like, first 4 tracks on this to me are just absolutely, like, I mean, you're not going to have a neck after the first 4 tracks alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, those first 4. And then we move to Cling to Life, which to me is a bit of a change up because mostly during the hook, the second part of the hook, Jamie Josta, master of fucking hardcore hooks, that background thing they got going, that Cling to Life, that thing they got going on, dude, that's like, to me, that's like reminiscent of like Demanufacture era hate or Fear Factory. Like, it reminded, when it first hit my ear, I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like Fear Factory. That like that kind of like shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I really like that a lot. It was a bit of a change up.
Yeah. The first couple of times I heard that, I wasn't sure quite what that was. I was like, because it doesn't really fit with the. I mean, it only happens like 2 or 3 times in the chorus.
Right.
But, like,
right. It's like the second part. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a cool little like little accent for that kind of vocal in like the chorus and stuff. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that song. I like the Truth Is stuff, like just the lyrics in it and stuff, and like just how it kind of goes back and forth with it. It's kind of a repeating phrase with it. Yeah, honestly, like, I think I would agree. Probably, I mean, I feel like there's been, like, between them and, like, I mean, bands we've talked about, like, Dahlia and of course, I don't know, who's the other one? I'm blanking on the other one, but yeah, like, Lamb of God, I was gonna talk about. They're bands that like just have something about like the opening tracks on their records, or like, they make sure to hit you, and that's exactly what this does. I thought it was like, as soon as I heard Instinctive, I was like, oh man, like, this is gonna be like, this sets it up, like, this is the most aggressive sounding I think that they've been. Like, I'll say I think, kind of with that point, I'll say, like, this to me, I think Concrete Confessional, their last record, was really like the one that to me kind of like was a little bit more of like a reform to them, to kind of like, the earlier, like, Supremacy kind of days, that like, that really had that specific kind of energy that made them kind of who they are, to me at least. And ever since then, they've just kind of been on a roll with it. I liked what was the album before that? I don't know. Yeah, Divinity of Purpose. I'm sorry. But I felt like that was kind of a weird, like, gap between what would be on these like past 2 and then what was kind of like, the self-title which followed before that. I think this is like, and we've talked about it in a few ways. I think this is probably one of, like, this is a big combination of all the things they do well and all the things that I really enjoy as a band. And like, it's a pretty straightforward record. I think it's like only about a half hour, or
34
like
minutes.
Yeah, but it's like, it's quick, like, in and out kind of stuff. And like, a lot of the songs kind of stick with you. Like, it's one of those that when it's finished, like, I could just let it run for another time, be like, you know, just be as into it. So
absolutely, it's extraordinarily catchy, and out of the gate, it's monstrous. That Instinctive Slaughterlust opening track is like they throw that in the fucking live set list, and it's over. Like it's over.
Yeah.
Like it's oh my god.
Well, that could like that's one of those that could either be an opening song or a closing song.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, 100%.
That's like kind of their black label in a way.
And this is something I wanted to go into. This is something I went into with the fucking AC/DC Dark Reflections too. You know, for anybody out there that it freaking sounds the same. You know what? Fuck you. Like I'm done with these people, these fucking haters out here saying it all sounds the same. No, they've cultivated a signature sound that their fan base fucking loves. And they keep molding it and evolving it, just like Cannibal Corpse, just like Dahlia, just like Slayer, like just like AC/DC, just like all of the greatest bands of all time that are still going today. All the greatest metal bands. To me, at least, excuse me. But what I want, some of the tracks like Cling to Life, starting with Cling to Life, that Fear Factory thing I was talking about, the tracks that I have notes here written down about are the tracks where I feel do like add it, they add a little sousson, into something, a little something different in there. They sprinkle a little something different into the track. Cling to Life was the first one. And honestly, I think this, like, first half of the album hits you pure fucking Hatebreed nonstop. Everything they do best. And then it's like the second half of the album is where they kind of give you these little extra bits. It's still Hatebreed in every way, but there's a little extra in there. Like Stroke of Red, the fuck is like, it's like, Hatebreeds were like, you know what I mean? Stroke of Red starts with like a real awesome fucking groove feeling almost to it, like a groove. It's and Cling to Life and Stroke of Red, both of them have sick ass solos in them. I fucking love the solo in Cling to Life.
Yeah,
and, you know, it's hardcore, so it's short, but it's still fucking. I love, dude. Who is it? Wayne, and God damn it, how am I forgetting? And Frank. Yeah, Wayne and Frank, the guitarists. You know, I assume they write separate, but I also assume they write some stuff together. Welcome to fucking Riff City. I'm going to use every Josta Show phrase I can use on this episode right here. Welcome to Riff fucking City, because my God, do these guys bring it. Do these guys bring the fucking riffs on this album? Holy shit, just the chuggiest, nastiest, hardest fucking shit. Like, this shit is hard. Like, oh my God. And yeah, Stroke of Red. And then I think we move right into Stroke of Red, and then Dig Your Way Out. One of my fucking absolute favorite tracks on the album. It's like, while it retains the Hatebreed signature sound, it's like the hook it's similar to Stroke of Red, honestly, a little bit, in that it's just like a more like, I don't know, it's like it. How do I describe it? It's not lighter, but it's like more airy. It's like got a more airy feeling to it, and I'm not used to hearing that so much from Hatebreed, and it's really like, I don't know, like it keeps it vibrant. It keeps it like refreshing to me in a way. Like, yeah, it just has that kind of, it's different from their normal thing. And the whole, the lyric, don't chase the pain, become it. Dude, that shit is hard. Dude, don't chase the pain, become it. Oh my God, dude, that shit hit me. I fucking love that line.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, it is probably the most like classic, like traditional hardcore song that's on here. And it is the shortest on the record too, coming out at 2:16.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one to me, like, especially the ending of it, just the way that it kind of breaks down and just like rolls through the ending of it. But yeah, I think the thing that sticks out to me the most about this is like a lot, you know, and it's like they've had the very like in talking about lyrics, and kind of Oh shit! I messed everything up.
No worries.
So I'm looking at track listing on Spotify and trying to.
Oh
get
no,
it
that's fine.
done.
I'm glad you are.
I
Back
think
me up.
the thing that sticks with me the most on this one is it's very like as much as because I feel like and I think I touched on it earlier. I was saying like I think that the Concrete Confessional, the last record, was very like it had a lot of darker moments on it. There was a lot of like it had a little bit more of like a like as far as like lyrically it wasn't quite as like deal with not pardon the the pun, but like dealing with demons kind of thing. Like it was very like you know like kind of I don't know. There was just a lot of like I feel like it was just mostly like like riffs and lyric wise it just kind of felt a little more darker to me. And this one I feel like is a little more I guess kind of what kind of what they did on like Divinity of Purpose, maybe a little more like the self-titled record that came out kind of somewhere in there. But it also kind of had those moments where it was just like heavier than anything they'd done before, which I think wasn't it? Didn't he say something about like writing a breakdown a day for a year or something like that?
Yeah, on the podcast. Yeah.
Like there's moments on this that come through and I'm like, yeah, this was like there's some stuff on here that I haven't like musically and everything else that I haven't heard them do since like Rise of Brutality like
Yes.
days. Like and
Yes.
that was my first real response to it when when we were listening to it the first time through. I was like, dude, like there's some stuff on here that is like some real like felt like it could have been on the first album.
Yes.
That was what like before even really like sitting down with it and having like a bunch of time with it. That was the first thing that like instantly I was like, I think I'm gonna dig this. Like
yeah. Oh God, dude. And yeah, I don't. I don't like saying, oh, it sounds like this era of the band because at the end of the day, like it might have elements of that, but it's still an evolved form. So what I will say is that I have this written down. I do feel like this is like an evolved form of the like 02 to 2010 sound that you know what I mean? I feel like it's like it does have so much remnants of that, but it still has more. It's more. You know what I mean? It's like an evolved sound of that. So, but yeah, it is very reminiscent of that era. So if you like that era of Hatebreed as much as we do, then you like to me, honestly, might be my favorite. Weight of the Fallen Self might be my favorite album since Supremacy. Like maybe I haven't spent enough time with the other ones yet, but I've heard them all. But this one grabbed. Now, granted, I heard them all before I had a podcast, so I didn't probably spend as much time with them as I have with this one because I knew we were going to do this. But this one grabbed me in a certain kind of way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What
big bad way.
What did you think about? Because to me, I feel like it really kind of starts the same way that it ends. Like it kind of like mostly like from Wings of the Vulture to Invoking Dominance.
Well, that go ahead.
That stretch of songs, like
what is that?
Like there and honestly, like I feel like the last song kind of they have these moments on each of their albums that I feel like they kind of like because I remember maybe not so on the last one, but I remember like each of them have their little moments of being a little something like a little something extra kind of like the for the Hatebreed the 2019 the self-titled had a instrumental track on it like halfway down or like towards the end of the album. There's a bunch of other stuff, but so I don't know. I feel like they always kind of find a way to go back and add those little extra, like cool aspects of like just like building this big like giant epic song for the end of it.
Yes. Oh shit, I'm fuzzy. God damn it. Sorry, everybody. This fucking camera keeps fucking with me.
But I'll say like definitely, The Herd Will Scatter and From Gold to Gray are really, like to me standout songs towards the end of it, because it just, I think that the hook on From Gold to Gray is really cool. I like the big like epic kind of chorus that it has, the big like sing along kind of stuff.
Well, I think it's funny. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to fix the camera, but I'm just gonna say fuck it. No, but I think it's funny that to start this off, I brought up how the first 4 tracks were just monsters out of the gate, right? And now you're saying the final 4 tracks from what'd you say? Wings of the Vulture, The Herd Will Scatter, From Gold to Gray, and Invoking Dominance. And Invoking Dominance is actually one I definitely wanted to bring up, because that's one that really was interesting to me. Invoking Dominance starts slower, almost like somber guitar work, and like just sick, like pretty sick soloing, and then it has this awesome quiet slow drum build, and then just unleashes into full on neck breaking fucking arm banging, horns in the air, chanting fucking chaos, dude. Pure there's no other track that should have been the last track on this album besides that. That's a perfect one to close it on. Invoking Dominance. Like, man, dude, that one. And that's, like I said, the ones. So Cling to Life, Stroke of Red, Dig Your Way Out, and Invoking Dominance are the 4 tracks where I really feel like they did something a little different. They sprinkled a little something else in. And man, those are the ones that stick out to me. Like, those are the ones that like really, like, besides fucking Instinctive and Let Them All Rot, like the ones where they actually, to all the haters out there, sounds the same. These are the tracks where they actually did something different, and I think it works so fucking well. To me, they did something different, to me at least. I don't know. Yeah. But you know what? When a new fucking Hatebreed album comes out, guess what? I want it to sound like Hatebreed.
Yeah.
I know it's a novel idea, but you know what I'm saying? Like, fucking Hatebreed, bro.
If that's the worst, and that's sort of been the case for a lot of things that have come out this year. I feel like, at least, maybe more so the things that I've been paying attention to, but like it's,
yes.
If that's the worst thing you have to say about it, is that it sounds like the band that you're listening to is like, well, is that, like.
Then you just don't like this band. Just move on. Like, why you know what I mean? Like, that's all, And isn't it funny that, I mean, especially if you listen to the Josta Show podcast, absolutely one of my favorite podcasts of all time. I cannot recommend it enough. Huge inspiration for this show. The band with like one of the hardest names is like the most positive fucking band on their albums, dude. Like, especially this one, dude. It's so fucking like looking inwards and uplifting, and like everything you need to get through a bullshit year like this. It's just so fucking powerful in that sense to me.
I think that was probably on purpose, because I remember when they were writing for this, as far as like early on lyric wise, I remember there was an interview I think he did with Corey Taylor where they were talking about like lyrics and stuff. And there was a part of it where I remember they were talking about like, like just setting, just writing like a really just angry sounding, like, lyrically, just really pissed kind of content stuff.
I remember that episode.
Get it out or whatever. But to me, I feel like this is a combination of that, and also like, just a way to kind of like, be that like drill sergeant kind of, like positive, like get through anything kind of band. And really, like, I think it really stands out on songs like This I Earned, Set It Right, obviously, Way to the False Self. I think This I Earned is as close to Live for This as we've seen in quite a few years. Like, that was the first song I thought of. I was like, may as well be like part two because it kind of sounds like that. But there's a lot of, I think with everything, and that was kind of what I was saying with the last record. They had a lot of, it was, 7 enemies in the walls, something's off, slaughter the dreams, walking the knife, serving masters, that are very like darker, aggressive songs. Whereas this one, I feel like is a little more like, you had moments of that, but it was also put in with like the, kind of balance it out or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, and definitely, I feel like this year being kind of how it's been, and the fact that like I don't feel like either of us really actually saw this actually coming out this year. It was just kind of a shock towards the, or a surprise.
Christmas present.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I mean, we got Lamb of God, Devil Driver, and now Hatebreed and Black Dahlia in the same year. Like
Testament, Ozzy. Like,
yeah, like
so many. And yeah, like, we got to keep in mind this album was originally supposed to be released in like April or June. So this shit was written last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like those lyrics were written and done. This shit was recorded at the beginning of the year, before Corona, before anything.
I guess I kind of forget about that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you got to take that into consideration. Like this shit was done. This shit's been done for like 10 months at least. At least. So it just got delayed release.
That's true. Yeah, because they had there was that thing about the production stuff.
Yep.
All of the like there was the factories that were shutting down because of the pressings or whatever, like all the merch stuff.
And thank God, thank God for Jamie Jasta, and just how if you listen to his podcast, how like he recognizes so much that like the diehards, the hardcore metal fans out there, we're still the ones more than anyone. Even if there was an article that came out like a long time ago. I want to say it was last year, maybe it was this year, but I think it was last year, where it was like a thing done on Spotify where they found out basically that like metal fans are the only ones that will like re-listen to stuff over and over and over and over. And like the loyalty, not only in just the streaming, but we're like the last bastion, the last fucking subculture that still buys fucking hard copies. And at a rabid to the point where they are now pressing 50 different fucking variants of different vinyls, and people are buying, they're selling out constantly. So it's like we are a rabid fan base for the physical stuff, and he recognized that, and he knew that at that point in time, it like, even though we were going back and forth, like, why not just release it on, like, let me go to the website, buy the physical copy, let the physical copy come with a digital download, and the physical copy will just get to me when it gets to me. At least I have it, the music already. But no, I think now after having said that, and that was back in fucking June, and now getting to this point and seeing the successful release of it, now they were unbelievably smart in doing it the way they did. I am an idiot. Like that's the way they should have done it. They did it perfectly in the climate that they're in, that we're all in. And it's like I said, man, like I love this band. You can find me in the Live Dominance DVD, the only live DVD they've ever done. They did it in fucking Detroit, Michigan at fucking Harpo's, one of the greatest venues we have. I've seen them so many unforgettable shows there. Like this band means so much to me. Like they were like, I didn't really like, I knew like Destroy Everything and stuff, but like besides that, I didn't really know much outside of the album Supremacy for a while. And I knew that one because like every fucking show I went to, Hatebreed was opening. It was Hatebreed or Black Dahlia Murder for like the first 10 years of me going to concerts. It was always Hatebreed or Black Dahlia Murder opening. and seeing them so many times got me so into them to the point where I'm like, to the point where I got to where like these are some of my favorite bands, and like I'm gonna go if they're opening, I'm gonna go if they're headlining. You know what I mean? Like I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna see them every chance I get.
Yeah.
They are like, and not only all of that, it's like all of that compounded on top of the fact that Jasta has one of the best podcasts going. And so like I get it on the music side, I get it on the podcast side. I'm a huge fan of everything. Like it's just like all that combined just shot them up through the ranks for me in so many ways that like, yeah, this is one of my favorite bands of all time. And so to, you know, for them to actually have a release this year, this is the first time they've released an album since we started this podcast. So to sit down and actually take a deep dive into this album like this, it's just like, man, like this is, we're just doing this because we love it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's the only reason why we're doing this is because of how much we actually love this album and love this band. But at the same time, it feels like an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't know. I just love it. I just love it.
I have to give them a lot of credit for being one of the first hardcore bands I was into. And when I say that, I mean like from a traditional sense of hardcore, and like, you know, from like, you know, Terror and like, you know, bands like that are really kind of
Cro-Mags.
Yeah, that like, you know, a straightforward kind of like energy, I guess. So, and like, you know, I was like, I don't really, I was like, I'm pretty sure I got into them around the same time when like Sacrament came out, and around the same time when I guess it would have been Nocturnal from Lamb of God. So I was getting a lot of like
Nocturnal from Dahlia.
Yeah. Sorry.
You said Nocturnal from Lamb of God.
Nocturnal. Yeah. Sorry. I was just talking about him. Yeah. Nocturnal from Dahlia. Anyway, yeah. So like, you know, it was in like, yeah. So when Perseverance came around, and I think I'm pretty sure Rise of Brutality was out about the same time, and like both of those two, you know, hearing like the staple songs, you know, Live for This, Straight to Your Face, you know, A Call for Blood, Below the Bottom, you know,
I mean,
Call Prayer, like
fucking
Nameless.
What's the one that I like? What's the goddamn it? Doomsayer.
Yeah, pretty much.
God. Like, don't be around me.
I was definitely into him on Perseverance, but I think Rise of Brutality was when it really became something that I was like, you know, that I like really kind of hooked onto, and really like, you know, it wasn't until, you know, like Supremacy a little bit later on when I heard, I think it was To the Threshold was one of the first songs that I heard. And like anytime that comes on, it's like, I feel like that is one of their most underrated songs, because nobody talks about it. Anytime that comes on, I'm like, you know,
don't be in the same area code as me. When that comes on, I will destroy everything. Like To the Threshold. Yeah. See, for me, it was like Preston, and I think Preston introduced me to Hatebreed with Destroy Everything. And then I just loved that album for years and years. And then I finally got to the point where I was like, I should probably listen to more Hatebreed. And now I've gotten to the point where it's like, honestly, like Supremacy will probably always be my favorite album because it's the one I found them on. But Rise of Brutality, dude, is top to bottom mad. Just the fucking most raw, pissed off, hardest shit. Like, oh my God, dude. So fucking good.
Facing
so
what
good.
Consumes You, Live for This, This Is Now.
Live for This, This Is Now, and the one I just said. Why do I keep forgetting it?
Doomsayer.
Thank you. I keep thinking Defeatist.
Oh, that's
Defeatist is Supremacy.
That one too.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, those Jesus Christ, man.
Like
what?
I like, and where does the argument, and I guess maybe, you know, and I'm only asking this because I've heard like various, you know, comments and stuff on it, but like a lot of people say that like by the time you hit like, you know, Supremacy or like Rise of Brutality, that they aren't they aren't like a hard like in a traditional sense, they aren't a hardcore band anymore. And to me, like I don't know necessarily, because I think of hardcore in two different senses. I think of it in the sense of like, you know, the traditional style like Black Flag era type stuff. Maybe that's more punk related, but still kind of the same sort of thing. You know, kind of that more like, you know, the raw sense of it. But then there's like, you know, I think of it in more of a like, I guess more of like a metal sense. And I feel like maybe that's what I'm more familiar with, because I think of bands like Varials and like Traders and you know, a lot of bands that are really kind of adding those hardcore elements to their sound. Spite a lot, you know, a lot of times I think of. So I don't know, like I just like it's such a they're a weird band to me, because I feel like they have a lot of like metal influence, but I also feel like they have a lot of hardcore influence as well. And I feel like you could really like accredit them for really in a lot of ways kind of crossing the two together.
Undeniable.
I mean, maybe, you know, I don't know, like because and I remember even seeing like, you know, little things about like, you know, and maybe it was different because, you know, given it was you know, if this is right, it's 2003 when Rise of Brutality came out. So that could have been like a different time when like, you know, and even like 2006 when Supremacy was out, like there was, you know, it was a bit more, because like Supremacy to me felt like the most metal Hatebreed album, if there ever was such a thing. Like
that there's
like
an argument to be made there.
that, and you know, it's very like I feel like they're, you know, and even like we're not even really talking about what is considered, you know, the actual like hardcore era of the band, which was like Satisfaction is Death of Desire, and you know, Under the Knife. They're like really earlier stuff, and honestly it's only because I'm not super familiar with it. I know I should be, to kind of make this argument.
What?
But
No, you're right, dude. You're right. Like everything, like, but here's what it. So the band was formed in '94. Satisfaction, or the one you just said,
Under the Knife, I think.
the first album was '97.
Yeah.
And that's something that Jasta has always talked about on the podcast, is that even from when they started, they were, even the ones that you and I view as more hard on the hardcore side of things. But even those albums, Jasta says, even during that time, we were too metal for hardcore and too hardcore for metal. And that was at a point in time. We're talking about fucking mid to late 90s, early 2000s. This is at a point in time where the division still exists. The division still exists. The division has been breaking down for the last 20 years, slowly but surely, because Hatebreed loves everybody, and Hatebreed loves Slayer, because everybody in Black Dahlia loves Cannibal Corpse. You know what I mean? Like, because like we are all the bands that we're talking about that were formed during these eras love all the old shit that we love, and we don't give a fuck. We're all the same. We're all just fucking, no, this is all the same. This is all heavy extreme music. We're all a family. Like, yes, there are different subgenres, but now they're all starting to intermingle in a way we've never seen before. That excites me so fucking much. Bridge the gaps, be the bridge band, because that's the fucking shit. Like, I want, like, ideal lineup for a concert: Parkway Drive, Hatebreed, Slayer, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, Children of Bodom, Lamb of God. You know what I mean? Ozzy, Recorruptor, Balgraith. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a giant mix. Like my like dream concert lineups are a giant mix of different subgenres. Behemoth. You know what I mean? Like, they're not, you know, we're at a point in fandom. I feel like I mean, you and I are already there, but I feel like the rest of the metal community is finally getting to the point where we love it all. We want it all. We hear the influences of each other and everything. You know what I mean? Nothing is like, you know, the biggest groove metal band isn't really groove anymore. The biggest hate or hardcore band, Hatebreed, isn't really hardcore anymore. It's because they've adapted and married different sounds to make it something new, something fucking, I mean, I don't want to say better, but like something different that's still just as good. You know what I mean? Yeah. I love that. I love how, in fact, and this is bullshit. What I'm about to say is bullshit, but the only fucking slight problem I have with this new Hatebreed album is there's no guests. That's my only thing. Now, I say that as a bullshitter and a selfish individual, because one thing I've said a lot on this podcast is one of my biggest problems with metal has always been they don't guest on each other's albums enough. Like hip hop and rap, they guest on each other's shit every fucking album. And I always wanted more of that in metal. And Jamie Jasta is one of the single greatest people to have started that happening in metal at all. I credit him with like kicking that off in metal in a lot of ways, from the podcast, how he's always pitching shit, to the fact that he has on the on all the Jasta records, he has incredible guests. So like he is so far above the bar from everybody else in metal in terms of having guests on their album. But that, so I can't it's hard for me to say that that's a problem that I have with this album, but it's like, when you're that guy, I kind of expect it. So how come like Randy wasn't, or Dez, or oh my God. Oh my Kirk, or you know, or anybody, you know what I mean? How come, no, but I get it. You just, because maybe for him, it's like, I have guests on the Jasta albums or the D Snyder album or the Kingdom of Sorrow album. Like, let's just keep Hatebreed. So I get, you know, with him, I actually get it. So,
well, I feel like, maybe it was just an example of maybe it just didn't really call for guests. Maybe that he just had enough of it, and or just like, you know, put in enough of, you know, as far as like writing lyrics and stuff, that maybe there was just no like space for it. Maybe he just kind of felt, you know, which also could have been the case. I feel like it was like, to me, it was cool to see, you know, obviously, you know, Poison Dream is a song that I go back to. I feel like that's one of the best songs of the year, really.
Yep.
You know, with it talking about Lamb of God, which was
featured Jamie Jasta.
Yeah, like, you know, I think there is definitely a lot more of it. And
the excitement that shot through us when we saw that track listing.
Yeah.
When we found out Jamie Jasta is going to be on the album. Oh my God!
It was, and it, like, even kind of going back to that, it was it was cool to see, like, or just to kind of like hear kind of like the fact that there was more to it that ended up being on it. But they just kind of like cut it or whatever. But yeah, I think that's, you know, I mean, and kind of looking into it, like in a lot of times when I look at guests and I look at, you know, these kind of things, it's like, well, have they ever before? And it doesn't look like they've ever had any real like guest spots or whatever, but it could have been, you know.
And maybe like, I can't, you know, but maybe let's try to put ourselves in his shoes for a minute. Oh, like he's working on a new Jasta album right now.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe every track on that album has a guest, and he's like, I don't want to be a Punisher. They're already on one.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Let Hatebreed stand on its own.
Yeah.
You know, he's got enough other stuff going on with collaborations and stuff to where he can let Hatebreed stand on its own. And my fucking God, does it ever? Does it ever? Like,
to me, I never want to have like the fact that like it has all these guest spots on it be like a selling point to me. Like I would always
Fair
want that
enough.
to be like, because to me that just becomes like oh, who's the big name on it, or who's like, and rather than
Yeah.
like is it something that really
Well,
can stand alone and can like.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I do feel like it just hasn't. I still feel it's just not done in metal enough, to where like we can get to that. Maybe we're not there yet, to the point where, oh, is the guest the one selling or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, it's just I feel like that could be like, I'm right here in rap and hip hop. If I see someone that I've never even heard of, that I don't give a shit about, release a song with Eminem on it, or Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre, or any of the rappers that I love, I'll just listen to and get that track.
Yeah.
I don't really think we're quite there with. So I get that with that, but I don't think we're quite there with metal yet, because I don't think we've had enough of it, quite frankly.
Mm.
And I mean, Lamb of God, like you just said, they had great guests. They had Josta,
Yeah.
they had Chuck Billy from Testament. They had great guests on that release, the self-titled. But like, it's still like not, there wasn't hardly any guests on the Devil Driver out, like there's just, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like they metal artists on their their band releases just don't collaborate as much as I'd like to see, is I guess all I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because every time they've ever done it, it's amazing. And I love it. Like, and it just makes me want more. You know what I mean? Like, I love it so much. So but yeah, so I guess I talked myself out of it. Like, I started all this by saying the one thing I have with this album is, but nah, I'm an idiot. Like, that doesn't come into play here, because Josta is the one waving that flag harder than anybody else. So he actually deserves props for maybe not having a guest on this album.
Oh, really that could have been what you were saying about, maybe having do all, being in all the different projects and doing the whole like Jost album and stuff. Maybe it just, and like to me, like I it's never something that I look at like with like disappointment. It's always like, oh, it's just kind of like an added bonus, because like I'm always gonna like listen to it, like enjoy it, but it's never something that I'm like, oh, I hope it like has, it's just like the extra added, like, oh, that's sick. Like, and it's kind of the same thing. Like, I think it started on their last one, but I guess keeping with the theme for this year, like really Lamb of God, like I mean, just seeing that with him and the two that we talked about before, I think was like kind of what I'm getting at is like it wasn't something that I was like I was bummed that it wasn't like just all them. It was like I was like, oh, sick, like I know those names, like I like those bands separately, so it would be cool to see them together and stuff.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, like, because right there, you just kind of hit on it. In metal, I think it's less of a selling point and more of an added bonus.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's where we stand with it right now. When you can like with how few people have done it and stuff like that, and
and a lot of times, like in specifically in metal, like it's always, whenever I've seen it, it's always been like towards the end of the song, or like during a really like big part of the song, and to me I feel like it sells it more than it does, because like whenever you, and like I Poison Dream, like we were talking about, or like for me, the one that it's not related really, but to me there was one that really sticks out is there's one that Chino did on Whitechapel's record for A New Era of Corruption.
Okay.
A few years ago, and like it was it was like a little like breakdown, kind of like bridge towards the end of the song, and it was like fit in so perfectly. And I feel like as long as it's I feel like it's a lot of times it's used in more of like to like accent big parts, instead of just having it be like during the chorus, or so I mean, and I guess like I guess what my point is like, you know, it really kind of depends to me is like where it's at in the song.
My favorite one right now is probably Enslaved, Dead or Depraved off Josta 1. Because Randy and Josta do a trade-off through the whole song. And that's what I love. But another one, to your point, to the accent kind of point, Winston on Coffin Dragger.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Yeah,
that's a perfect example of that for me. Like is off
one.
Thy Art Is Murder, Holy War, Coffin Dragger, Winston from Parkway. Is he literally just like accents the breakdown?
Yeah,
and it's so fucking gnarly. Oh my god! Don't be in the same time zone as me for that one.
Get out of my area code.
Fuck the area code. We're going time zone, baby. I'm fucking up multiple states at once. Like, holy shit. Like, god damn, dude. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, that one hits for sure.
That one fucking hits hard. Hard. I'm using every Josta reference I can.
You I know we probably talked about it already, but you got a couple favorites off this one?
What honestly, yeah, like there are kind of the ones that I listed. Let Them All Rot is to me like one of the hardest things they've done since Doomsayer. To me, Doomsayer is like one of the hardest tracks of all time. And Let Them Rot is like this whole album. Yeah. So like that, I love Cling to Life, Stroke of Red, the first track, Instinctive Slaughterlust, Invoking Dominance, Dig Your Way Out. If I had right now to list some favorite tracks, those would be it. And that's not to say the other tracks aren't right up there or will eventually become my favorite tracks. You know what I mean? But like right now, sitting here right now, those are the ones that just fuck me up every fucking time. What about you?
Yeah, I'd say obviously Instinctive.
I know that's the one out the gate where you were like, this is the shit. Like, yeah.
Like even before, because like I think Weight of the False Self was the first. No, actually, it was a song that isn't even on the album.
Let the Blade Drop.
Yeah, which
hard.
Yeah, would have easily fit. Like very similar to like All Out Life, Slipknot kind of stuff. Like I feel like it only would have added to it.
They did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. Excuse me, but I think Instinctive really Cling to Life, Dig Your Way Out, This I Earned. That one really, like I said, it reminds me of a lot of
Perseverance.
Yeah, like This Is Now.
Yeah.
And I think really from the Herd Will Scatter from Gold to Gray are like
great tracks
towards the end of it. Really,
yep.
I really like the chorus on from Gold to Gray, and just like dude, I think like kind of a yours is ours is on the Herd Will Scatter, fucking Requiem from Lamb of God.
What's the yours is ours is?
He says like, or no, I'm sorry, it was Vigil from Lamb
of God.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to remember what the album was. Yeah, it was. It was like Smite the Shepherd and the Herd Will Scatter and the Sheep Will Scatter. Vigil, and then this one is like whatever it is on this one. I sent it to you. I remember.
You did. Oh fuck, I forgot. Oh my god, you're right. God damn it, there's a yours is houses.
But yeah, so
yours is houses. a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little similar,
So yeah, I don't know. I think those are probably the ones that to me are the ones I feel like I go back to the most.
Yeah. I mean, but like you also said, this is one that's it's a quick in and out. It's 4 minutes long. And like you started at Instinctive Slaughterlust and you're just going to run through the rest of it. Like that's
it really is.
Shit.
Yeah, it really is one of those that you could just kind of start and just let it go.
Yeah.
And just kind of hear
and then once it's done, let it go again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's straight up.
Out of it.
It is one of my favorite albums of the year, without question. It will be making an appearance on the Filthy 15. And yeah, dude, that's really all I got. That's all I got written down for it. I love this album so much. It came out on November 27th. So it came out, what is today? Like just under a month ago, just 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 days ago. And so like 3 weeks basically. And I have spent an incredible amount of time with it. I fucking, like I said, probably my favorite Hatebreed album in damn near the last 10 years. Here's what it looks like when you get the physical copy, people. Get the physical copy. All right? Like, it's so worth it. That's what's underneath the fucking classic amazing Hatebreed logo. You know, who's better at marketing, for Christ's sake? Like, these guys, you know, the bands that we've been talking about all night in the same ranks as Hatebreed, the fucking your Dahlias, your Cannibals, your Slayers, your AC/DCs, all these bands have the most diehard fans. Like, and it's because they have remained diehard and stuck true to their sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. On the one hand, everybody's like, oh, it all sounds the same. And on the other hand, they're like, oh, they sold out. They betrayed us. They changed their sound. What the fuck do you want, people? What the fuck do you want? Like, which one is it? You know what I mean? Like, Eminem talks about it on the new album, Music to be Murdered by Side B, a lot. Like, it's the same deal. It's the same fucking thing. At the end of the day, it's the same fucking thing. So, yeah, man, yeah, this band means the world to me. This album is incredible. And, I mean, right over your fucking shoulder, right there. I'm looking at it all. You're the fucking Hatebreed 25-year anniversary tour.
Yeah, man.
The first,
I kept it up there for a reason tonight.
Goddamn right. Goddamn right. And that was the show we got to fucking meet them, dude. We actually got to meet them.
I think most of the stuff from that is still in this.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, we actually got something signed and got to meet every single member of the band. And like, when I had so many things to say. Oh my God. Oh my God. That is framed in my bedroom right now.
Honestly, yeah, you got
that is bedroom art, not crypt art. Is that I need to see that when I wake up in the morning. Get me going.
Yeah. Couple of patches with it.
Yep.
For the 25th year, and then
yeah. This is what you get when you get a Hatebreed meet and greet.
I was probably most psyched about this.
Oh, that's framed in my bedroom as well. Hold that up again. Hold that up again.
Yeah, I haven't looked at this in a minute.
Let's see that track list. Oh my God. What? See, the only thing missing is Doomsayer. The only thing missing is Doomsayer.
Oh yeah, they didn't play
only thing missing. I haven't seen them play Doomsayer in many years, honestly.
I didn't think about that.
That's the one that I always wish they play nowadays. And it's rare. It's rare. We got we got the fidget spinner. I forgot we got those. Holy shit. That's how long ago we met them. Fidget spinners were popular.
Yeah, right. This is like at like the end of it.
Yeah.
They kind of start going out of style, but yeah.
We did get fidget spinners. We got buttons, pins, buttons, fucking patches, fucking t-shirts.
A couple of buttons are already on the jacket I got put together.
Yeah, the battle vest.
Oh yeah.
So, man, like, who the fuck is better than Hatebreed? I fucking love them so much, and it's so this like. I love them so much, and I can't believe how much I love this album. I really I knew I was gonna like it. but like this much to say it might be my favorite since Supremacy. Not to say it's the best, just to say it's my favorite since Supremacy. Like, man.
I feel like to me it's kind of on par with the last album, Concrete Confessional, which I'm talking about a lot. I'm bringing up, but like really that one to me was like as close to, you know, it's just that like real aggressive style energy that I like from them just all the way through. And this one kind of very much the same. But it seemed like a little more like uplifting. It seemed like a little more, you know, on like the, you know, the positive tinge and stuff, which is also like to me, I mean, especially right now, like it's
what we need right now.
Yeah, that I definitely look for.
That's what we need right now.
I think that there's the side, you know, there's really kind of two different sides of you know what is considered like, you know, the hardcore genre. You know, there's the side of I'm actually playing with this like
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Can you? Yeah. Oh, might have to stop then. Yeah. Might get in the audio. But yeah, I feel like there's like two different sides to like, you know, to what people know as like hardcore is like the real like, you know, negative kind of like, you know, real like, you know, stuff you gotta fight to. And then there's also like the other stuff where it's like, you know, and I always really liked what he says on the podcast. It's like something about like negative music for positive people, or like you know, pissed music for like, I don't know, something like that. It's some kind of like, and I always kind of held on to that. And this like, you know, for being a band called Hatebreed, it's like they're very like, you know, they're a band that to me I always come to for like, you know, that like, you know, that inspiration, that kind of like, you know, just that stuff that kind of gets you through, you know, whatever. Like, and I feel like more specifically, like, you know, that last record that they put out was one that like really got me back into them after the last couple of years. Because admittedly, I haven't really been paying attention like as far as like, you know, on like an album basis. And I feel like that was really the first one that I felt like there was just a lot of stuff on it that I could kind of connect to. And that's the thing about them, is I think that, you know, in the same way that I got into like, you know, Supremacy for that, like, you're not Perseverance rather, you know, for that same kind of like, you know, that message and that same kind of like, you know, like you can be pissed but you can still have like a, you know, that positive outlook on things, and you can still like, you know, try to get through it and kind of use that for good, and to try to, you know, shape that into your life and stuff. And so I think that to me, like they're kind of as important as like, you know, like you were saying, they're one of those bands that I feel like's been around for a long time, and they've kind of paved the way for what is like, you know, a lot of like trends and a lot of things that are happening right now. And you know, they're just like, it's to have a band that's as heavy as them, and to be, you know, to have those moments of like just really like, you know, pissed off stuff. There's also this moment of like, you know, clarity, and there's this moment of like, you know, you don't have to be so negative about stuff all the time, and just kind of use that for, you know, I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons that what is it like, well, like Start With Yourself, and like, you know, there's those songs that like there's a lot of moments on this, a lot more than maybe the recent albums or like the last couple, where it's like there's this very like positive, uplifting stuff. And I feel like that's, you know, that's something that they do well without losing out too much on that like edge, or that too much like, you know, without like having it be like a top 40 song, I guess, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of moments of that where they could very easily write, you know, like just songs that went up on the radio and stuff with that same message. But I feel like, you know, with where they started, and with, you know, kind of how they've shaped their sound, is really like, you know, it fits, and it's a cool, I don't know, it's a cool thing to find, especially in hardcore, because it's like I said, it's either one way or the other, really.
And that is the thing, is that they could write songs,
and they do. I'm not saying they don't.
Well, no, but like, well, in my opinion, you know, in our opinion, Like there's a lot of bands that should be in the top 40 that aren't. But yeah, like for them to be so fucking positive and inspiring, but retain such a hard sound, that is something we don't get a lot in extreme music. And I don't know, for people like you and me, it means a lot, and it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like there are definitely days where I get up and I'm like, I don't want to fucking fuck this, fuck everything. But then I throw on a fucking Hatebreed song and I'm like, live for this, live. Like, oh, it's over. Like, you know what I mean? Like it gets me fucking going. Like they do that. They're the best at that. And that's so valuable. That's so fucking valuable and important. Like,
oh man, even just like the song person, or like just the really the first two tracks on Perseverance. Like proven in the like the self-titled, man. Like anytime I need like just that, like, you know, just that, like, come on, like, you know, just that, like,
let's fucking go.
Yeah, like
let's fucking go.
You know, that's usually where I start, and then it just kind of goes from there. But like, yeah, that's, I don't know, like they're just, but like it's been cool to kind of see them also kind of, you know, change a little bit and kind of like, you know, like grow into that, because it wasn't like, because there is, you know, there's a lot of, you know, very like, you know, early on stuff where it was very, you know, very much the opposite, like, you know, defeatist and you know, a lot of songs that are on, you know, the first that are very like and really like I think Supremacy I like for the reason that it's like it was at a time where I feel like you could kind of tell, you know, he was like, specifically Josta, more so from like a lyrical point, where he was just kind of like, you know, kind of like looking inward a bit more, and kind of like, you know, seeing a lot of stuff that was like, you know, just a lot of like, you know, negativity. And I feel like that was really the last real like negative sounding like album that they put out, because I think that it, you know, it was, I mean, just you know, a lot of the songs have that real like, you know, kind of like, in a way, kind of like nihilistic look to things. Like they just had this, you know, like just a lot of like trying to like, you know, search through yourself, like spiritually kind of stuff. And I feel like it was, I don't know, it was
getting taken to the threshold.
Yeah, you know, and just so, and I think
the vibe of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of moment, like, I think I gotta pull it up real quick because I want to talk about it specifically.
Like, still the fucking, yeah.
I'll say like, you know, obviously Destroy Everything, but like Divine Judgment, you know, Immortal Enemies, Spitting Venom, Supremacy of Self, like those kind of songs, like they just, I feel like it was the last time where we really saw those kind of like, you know, real like aggressive, you know, like just trying to figure out, you know, like let me figure out myself kind of lyrics and stuff. And I feel like the last, you know, ever since then, it's kind of been more of like a worldly look at things, and it's been a little more of a positive kind of thing. But it also, I don't feel like they've ever lost that. I just feel like they've kind of taken a little bit, and I think that sometimes that's a part of the band that people kind of are a little more like, maybe not so like turned off by, but just kind of like stop listening towards like certain records, because maybe it's not really like what they're looking for. Maybe they're kind of used to that. But I think that like there's, you know, as long as you're looking for it, as long as you know, can appreciate, you know, their sound and what they're doing, I feel like you'll find that in anything they put out really since then, which is, you know, a big part of why I think they're still as big as they are. And I feel, you know, they're still going.
And they're still one of our favorite fucking bands of all fucking time.
Oh man.
100%. Like, still puts on one of the greatest live shows going. Like, everything about them, the energy. If you get to see Hatebreed live,
Yeah.
Fucking do it.
Like that.
Oh my God.
That show at Harpo's was like
Oh.
that was one, and we've talked about it on here before, but that was one of those that, like, when we left there, like when that was happening, it was one of those that was like, this is what I want to do. Like that's, that was kind of one of those, like, it's just
those
like,
cleansing
yeah,
experiences.
man. Like,
oh my God.
there's a certain like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like every show once we get back will be kind of like this, but like, there's certain shows, pre whatever era,
COVID.
yeah, that, like, you'd see and you just be, like it would just, they just hit differently, for lack of a better term. And like that was one of them. That was kind of one of the last ones I remember. That was like, this is like, it was all day. Like we got there early, spent the whole day and stuff, and it was just legends, like back to back, and it like
fucking insane.
Yeah, and really, like, and to kind of like go off of that point, like it's cool to see that they're one of those bands that have kind of are able to not only like be the gateway for a lot of to get into a lot of more other, like, more like, I guess, like, bands within the hardcore scene and like genre, like within that same sound, but they're also able to like like bring out older bands now, which is cool. Like they're
Obituary.
Yeah, and at Cro-Mags, like that was like, wasn't that their first show or their first real like tour in, I don't know.
I don't
remember what the setup was. I remember it was something specific, like they hadn't done like a real, like an actual live tour, like played specific spots in a long time. I don't know. In any case, yeah, like it's just the fact, like that is really kind of, to me, what keeps them around and what really kind of like sets them apart from there's like it's them and like really them and like Slipknot are bands that I feel like are kind of on the same, where I feel like they could have their own festival if they wanted. Like they could have their own, and have it, be it's just gigantic.
I agree to that. I think Hatebreed is a band that could do something like that. Definitely. I mean, the 25th anniversary show right behind you that we saw, almost was a festival, like you were just describing. Like it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like it could have been. You know what I mean? Like that is a band that can put something like that together without question, because they've done all the work. They're incredible. Between the podcast, especially, like they're incredible. Like it's, man. God, we fucking love Hatebreed.
Well, about some tangents, this one.
Yeah, man, this is great.
To me, it's like they're a band that's kind of like, it was kind of like the last one we did. It was kind of like AC/DC, like they're just maybe not to quite the same extreme, but I feel like they're a band that if you're into heavy music for any amount of time, then eventually you'll come across them, and like just they're even like regardless of if you actually like the band or not, like just the fact that like they're what they've done for like not so much, well, whether you're talking about like the band or like the individuals themselves, it's just like, I mean,
what
like,
they've done for heavy music and crossing it all over and making intermingling acceptable. They've changed in my opinion, they've changed the landscape in a lot of ways. They really have. For me, as a fan, at least, I can say that. From my perspective, I do credit them with being somewhat, in a lot of ways, there were many bands that came before them that did similar things, but in a lot of ways, to get us to now, you need Hatebreed. Like it's
yeah.
to me, to get us to the landscape that we're in now of, you know, you know, there shouldn't be any goddamn fucking subgenre fighting anymore or anything like that. And to get us to that point, you need Hatebreed. So to me, one of my favorite and one of the most important bands of all time. Like, they just mean the absolute fucking world to me. And I feel like they've gone above and beyond in the sense that they've actually like changed the scene. They haven't just like put out the great music. They've done that, but also changed the scene in very positive ways.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people forget that at one point Josta hosted
Headbangers Ball.
One of the original like versions of the show, and it was really kind of the one that like put a lot of those, you know, a lot of the heavier stuff in the rotation and stuff. It was really kind of like the spearhead for it a little bit.
I just realized something. Holy shit, dude. Something just popped into my head. Hold on. Okay, maybe it's on a past Josta show that's like in the archives that I've never heard. But Hatebreed wasn't in Headbanger's Journey. Has Josta and Sam Dunn, have they ever interviewed one another? Like I said, maybe it's in the archives somewhere.
Yeah, no, they really don't.
But that
talk about that is kind of the one thing about, they don't really get into like the heart, like the impact of like, you know, hardcore that had on metal. But I also feel like that's kind of more of a, I don't know, I guess like, where would that fit?
I don't know, but I know it needs to. If it hasn't happened, it needs to.
Yeah.
I can't believe that just popped in my head just now.
Yeah,
I don't know why that popped in there.
I don't think they have. I think you're right. Yeah.
We need to research this. But
in any case, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, are you ready to wrap this one up? Do you have anything else? All right. Everyone.
I fucking love it, man. Like
Weight of the Fallen Self Crushing You is out now. Hatebreed.
Weight of the False Self.
Weight of the False Self. Did I say fallen? My bad.
Yeah.
Weight of the False Self Crushing You. And that's Crushing You is just the lyric in that song. Out now. Fucking complete and total fucking dominance. Get a physical fucking copy. Stream it. Share it. Put it everywhere. This shit is fucking amazing. We cannot recommend it enough. And that's gonna be about it right here. For this episode of Dark Reflections, that's gonna be about it. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, this album is so amazing. We cannot thank Hatebreed enough for putting out something so amazing for us to talk about. And I guess we'll wrap this one up. So as always, we have a lot more coming to you in the future. We got a lot we're working on right now. This week, even after you see this, there's probably 2 videos coming out the same day. This one and another one, probably the same day. So we got a lot coming. It's what is it? 4 days before Christmas for you and I right now. So fucking hope everyone is having a wonderful and safe, happy holidays. And that's going to be about it for this episode of Dark Reflections. Hatebreed, Weight of the Fallen Self. Which one is it? False Self. Why am I fucking that up? Weight of the False Self. Out now.
I think it's just the lyrics.
Right?
I think he says both.
Probably. Oh, that's why. Pick it up, get it, and we will be. Yeah.
Thank you for the signed copy as well.
Oh my god. Yes.
Well, I meant to say that at the beginning, but
putting that as even an option is amazing.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But that's gonna be about it. We're gonna wrap this one up. Thank you all so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. We hope you enjoyed this album as much as we do. As always, we got a lot more coming in the future. But until then, raise your fucking horns, bang your goddamn heads, remain diehard, live for this, destroy everything, and don't forget to drink your coffee, do your push-ups, and listen to death metal. Remain diehard, you beautiful people. We love you all to death.
Coffee, death metal push-ups.
Coffee, death metal push-ups. Remain diehard. We love you all to death. Good night.